my channel, everyone. My name's Aaron. I go by Hank. It was a nickname I had in high school. I just kind of kept it. Um, Stems from a guy I went to high school with decided to start calling me Hank for Hank Aaron, and then it kind of went to Hanky Panky. So I get called all kinds of stuff. And then of course Key and Peele decided to ruin my name, so I'm now known as Aaron by literally everyone. Thanks, thanks for that. Anyway, kind of backstory. I am a 37-year-old male. I live in Eastern Kentucky, grew up in West Virginia. If you're wondering where the W came from, I went there for a couple years, and I ended up moving back home, getting my associates in nursing through Marshall and St. Mary's. I am currently in the Walden RN to BSN program, and after I finish it up, I plan on going to get the MSN and getting my psych nurse prac. So that's kind of the backstory of me. I have a dog named Jinx, and I have a cat named Nacho. Jinx is a good boy. Nacho is the typical orange cat energy. By the time this video is out, I'm sure I'll get bit at least 3 times. My hobbies in life are I love riding motorcycles. I have a Harley Ultra Classic that I absolutely love that I blew up last week, which is kind of the backstory. It was the beginning of the fall, I will say, for why this video is about. I also have a 2018 Wrangler. It's a JLU. It's black, lifted on a 2.5-inch lift, and I've got some high-rise fenders. I've got 35s on it right now. I plan on, after these tires wear out, I really want to go to 37s. But I've got 120,000 miles on it. It's the best vehicle I ever owned. If you're looking for a new vehicle, I highly recommend the Jeeps, the 3.6. I love my Jeep. It's awesome. I had weight loss surgery back in 2021, April 2021. At my biggest, I was 415. I was wearing 5X shirts and in 48 pants. After my weight loss surgery, I got down to like 250. I ended up getting back up to almost 300 back in December of 2023. Years are hard. Numbers are hard for a guy that's dumb. But then I ended up going to see a weight loss doctor. I got put on Manjaro and got put on Adderall for appetite suppression. I never was diagnosed as ADHD as a kid, so I got put on it. I actually go for adult ADHD testing in September so that my psychiatrist can start regulating it. But ever since I've been on it, I started at the middle of January. I weighed 287. So I'd lost a few pounds between December and the middle of January. And now, when I stepped on the scale this morning, I am 205. I'm literally smallest I've been probably since middle school. I'm in extra large and large shirts and wearing 32 and 34 pants. Best decision I ever did was had weight loss surgery, and now get on the Manjaro. If you have any questions about that, or you'd like to know more information about that, what my journey for that is, you can just leave me a comment below, and we'll discuss it in a video. But the gearing of this video is mostly towards mental health. I've struggled with mental health the majority of my life. I've been on some kind of antidepressant since I'd say probably 2010 at the latest. I've been on just about every known SSRI besides Prozac. Now on Wellbutrin, very open about what I take. I'm on Wellbutrin and on correction, I am not on Wellbutrin. I tried Wellbutrin, and it was the worst thing I ever was on. I'm on Cymbalta. I'm on Cymbalta and Abilify, and it's been a pretty good combination for me so far. But back to the mental health, the whole thing. So I discussed that last week. At the end of last week, I took my Harley out for a ride. I was, having a bad day. My nice wind therapy was going great. Went to pass a vehicle, and my oil light came on, and now I have a rod knock. So it's kind of looking like my riding season's done for this year. But it gives me an opportunity to, tinker a little bit and have a winter project to get it fixed. So after that, went through a breakup over the weekend. It did not go very well. I struggled with it pretty bad. I drank heavily on Saturday night, which led up to the breakup. And then Sunday it all unfolded. I won't get into details of what happened. I will just say that it was 100% my fault. I take full responsibility. I can't change it. The only thing I can do is live in the moment and know that it's in the past. I can't do anything about it. Can't say that I felt that way a couple days ago because I was super, super depressed. I didn't eat for 48 hours. I barely want to get out of bed. I mustered enough energy to go to work, and then I'd come back home and just be in my own little pit of sorrow back in my bedroom. But I've done a lot of reading. I've read a lot of books. The one I'm currently reading is How to Fix a Broken Heart by Guy Winch, and I'll add a little uh, tag for it here. You can go on Amazon and find it if you want. It's a very good book so far. I'm almost finished. I think I'm like 85% done with it. It's not very long. It's like 120 pages on the small Kindle. I've got a little Kindle I read on. I've read other books on there too. It's and if you want, I can do like a link or a video about the books that I've read and ones I suggest and don't suggest. But I feel like the reading has helped me a lot. For one, it keeps my mind occupied, but also I'm learning about different coping mechanisms and how to get over stuff like this, which I didn't really have an outlet to do. My coping mechanisms before I would go to work, I'd come home, I'd stare at four empty walls, just me and my dog, and I'd get my own head and I would drink until I passed out, and then I'd wake up and I'd do it all over again. Terrible, terrible, terrible coping mechanisms. That was just it worked at the time, but it was super unhealthy. So I learned about a lot of those in the new books that I've read. I've also been working through a CBT, a cognitive behavioral therapy workbook, and also my therapist. Um, I was always one that was always against therapy. I was like, I'm a man, I don't need therapy. Men don't have feelings. You just suck it up and get on with life. The older I get, to realize that nope, everybody probably should see a therapist. If anything, they're getting paid to sit there and you get to talk to them. I mean, I get to vent and get everything off my chest, but they get paid to sit there and deal with it, and they actually have, you know, resources that they can give you to help you out. And it's different than just talking with friends. I've talked with friends, and you hear something from a friend, and it's like it doesn't really stick. It's kind of in one ear out the other. A therapist, it's a third party. It's somebody that's not biased towards you. They're getting paid, yes, but they're here to help you, and they're not one feeding you what you want to hear, which is what you think about whenever you get to ask a friend for help. And if I'm right, she tells me I'm right, and if I'm wrong, she tells me wrong. She's very, very open about it. So I highly, highly recommend therapy. I've really enjoyed it over the last couple weeks. First week was very, very vague, very, very vague. And I actually took a trip to visit my best friend while she was camping with her family and her boyfriend. And I was listening to Anxiously Attached. Actually, it popped up as a Audible book on Facebook, and I started listening to it. And I was going through it, and I was like, "This is me. This is totally me." And I made a list. While I was going down the road, I'd be like, "Hey Siri, add to my notes," and I would literally I had like a bullet points of like 8 notes that I had. And once I got home on Monday, I actually emailed it to her, and she was like, "That's great, awesome." Because when I went in the first day, it's you don't have rapport with somebody, and you're kind of like, I don't know about this, so you're just kind of tiptoeing around. She's like, "What are you looking for to get out of therapy?" And I was like, "I want to be able to not be so anxious, be able to deal with my anxiety and my depression." Well, that's pretty vague, and it was kind of like she just kind of gave me just some vague homework, which actually did help. And I'll go over my week's homework this week, and um, she didn't give me for this week coming, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what actually gets done. But so I spiraled. Sunday night was bad. Monday night was bad. Tuesday night was bad. Wednesday was kind of the turning point. Wednesday I still didn't feel great. Thursday I felt a little better, and yesterday I felt quite a bit better. So I was very, very down, depressed, and I don't even know how it came up, but there's an app it's through Apple, was through the Apple store. You can get it on your MacBook or on an iPhone. It's called Stoic. And I was like, I'm not going to journal. That's something little girls did with their little pink booklets that have a little easy to manipulate lock on. Like I'm a 37-year-old man. I don't journal. Well, I decided to download it. It comes with a free trial. I think it's a week. It's $34 a year, and in my opinion, it's worth the $34. I'm not getting paid to say that. They didn't give me a free app. They're not paying me money. I mean, they don't know who I am. I have 10 subscribers. Nobody knows who I am. But Yeah, but it's not like regular just a piece of paper you write down in. They're very structured. They're very guided um, journals. So I wake up in the morning. I'll make my cup of coffee. I take my dog out for to use the bathroom. I'll come back in. While I sip my coffee, I log onto my MacBook and bring up my Stoic app, and I start my morning. He'll ask you how you felt rested you feel, what are your goals for the day, like what are your three main emphasis, like in spirituality, self-care, relationship, a date, music, school, whatever. It's got a whole bunch of stuff listed. You click three, you go to the next page, and it says, what do you want to do with these three things today? What so you write out your goals for the day. You go through. So then I do that. I drink my coffee. I get ready for work. I go to work. Usually on lunch break, I'll eat my lunch. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes. I have about 15 minutes left over after my lunch break, and I'll go into our break room, our locker room. I'll throw my AirPods in, and they have guided meditations and deep breathing exercises. And anytime I feel super anxious, that's what I'll do is I'll do a quick meditation or some deep breathing, and I feel pretty good. And also at that point in time, I do a mood check-in as well. They have mood check-ins. You just click on it. It says it's literally smiley faces. How do you feel right now? And it goes from frowny to sort of frown to neutral to sort of smiling to smiling. You'll click on it and you'll put like why, like underneath that category. If you're happy, it's like you feel accomplished or you feel successful or something. And you just go through. You can actually open up more and pick what you feel at that point in time, and you explain it. It may be explain why you feel like this, or it may be something like an example of something out that makes you think, and you have to write out just a quick journal. And then I'll come home and I'll usually do another mood check-in after work, and then before I go to bed, I always go on and bring up and do a nightly check-in, which is, how stressful was my day, how like what I'm feeling at this point in time. Then it goes in. The first one's always explains what you did your day. How did your day go? Did you meet your goals? And then the three topics that you picked earlier, you go through and you explain them. And then when you get done with that, it says, do you want to do a quick breathing exercise? You can do one of those if you want. A lot of times I'll lay in bed, and if I can't sleep, then I'll do a meditation or a deep breathing exercise. But like I said, I highly recommend it. I didn't think journaling was anything, but it's just something to be able to like get those pent up just feelings that you can't get out. Like it's one of those things you don't want to burden somebody with. And it's one of those things that even if you do tell somebody, it's kind of hard to really just tell them exactly everything. And being able to journal, I can be just distraught and just anxious that I can type after I type them out, and once I get them out, once they leave my fingers on the keypads, I just feel so much better. But by the way, not a public speaker, if you couldn't tell. I say a lot. This is my first video like this doing this. So I'm a wee bit nervous. Another thing is I started seeing a therapist. Like I said, she's excellent. Some of her stuff is very good. Like the one exercise that she had me do is, think of a negative thought. Of course, after this, I said, I'm unlovable. So it was she gave me a little piece of paper. So you write down your thought, and then is there any substantial evidence to this thought? Yeah, I got broken up with. I've been left numerous times. Is there evidence to the contrary? Well, then I got to think. I was like, yeah, I have my family, my friends love me dearly. So it's not that I'm unlovable. I'm definitely not unlovable. And I've had more than one person tell me that, I'm too, you are loved. Am I attempting to interpret the situation with that evidence? Of course I am, because I'm fresh out of a breakup and everything negative is flowing around my head. What would a friend think about the situation? My best friend Felicia totally disagrees. She would smack me across the face if I said that. And if I look at it positively, how's it different? I look at it as this is a new way for me to grow as a person and be the better person. My goal is to be the best person I can. And from 5 years from now, this breakup, is it going to matter? Probably not. So my whole thing about this whole situation is that in this relationship, I put her as a priority. Like my number one priority above everything, well, besides work, was her. She could ask me any time of the day or not, and I would drop what I was doing. I was always at standby for her. And Uh, Whatever, there were things that I would not do just in case that she wanted me to come over or see her or do something like that. So I would put her, technically, I put her way above me. Now this, I've learned that you have to be yourself. You can't just be somebody. You can't let somebody be you, your personality, and your happiness. I've now realized that I have to create my own. I have to be happy with myself before I can be happy with somebody else, which sounds cliche. I know. I hate cliches. But I've learned that I have to do things that make me happy, and if I get in a relationship, that I have to have my happiness, and then they add to the happiness. They are not the happiness. So like yesterday, I went out and I went and saw a movie I've not done in forever. Been months since I've seen a movie. Went and seen it by myself. Seen Deadpool versus Wolverine. Highly recommend. Unpopular opinion, probably the best Deadpool out of the three. It was that good. And then I went to a little concert series a place near here has. I went and listened to live music just from local artists for a couple hours. Things I used to do that I loved that I quit doing. And I'm slowly working my way back into that. And uh, other than that, what else have I worked on this week? Other than reading, those are the main things I've pulled away. A little backstory about me, if you've made it this far, as in my ramblings, because this is just a big ramble because I don't have anything written down whatsoever. Uh, like I said, I struggle with mental health all my life, but I'm very open about it. I'm a very, very depressive person. I'm very, very anxiously attached. Um, and I'm very hyper fixated on whenever noticing changes. And if I notice a change, I become more clingy. And I can't do that. Just makes things worse. I get super clingy and more clingy. And I have to learn to take a step back. And it's a relationship. It's not my life. I have to not always be the person that they're always going. I can't just be with that person 24/7. I have to have a life outside of them, and they have to have a life outside of me. I have to do things that I enjoy. I have to go and do things that I like. I can't just let that person be my personality, and I realize that now. But I've struggled quite a few times with mental health. It really started when I was in EMS. EMS really opened my eyes of how bad my anxiety and depression was. When you see things daily that humans aren't supposed to see ever, it really messes with you a little bit. And then I get into the nursing field, and I worked as an ER nurse, and I worked as PACU. And again, you're seeing stuff, ER, you've seen overdoses, shootings, stabbings, all this stuff come in. And then our, recovery room, I see patients that were shot coming out of surgery. We worked a lot, we had people die on us. I mean, it's stuff that the normal person is not supposed to see. So March 21st of 2018, I had a suicide attempt. And I just left my fiance at the time. We hadn't been. I was dealing with that. I ended up hurting my back at work. I was working in the ER, and I hadn't slept in like 3 days. I hurt so bad. I just hurt. And I came home and I got in my own head. I wanted to sleep. I didn't care how long. I didn't care if it was for an hour, 5 minutes, or forever. I wanted to sleep. So I started drinking, and I drank some more. And I ended up going through one of those jugs of the Jose Cuervo margarita mix. I went through a whole jug of it. I don't know how many shots I took. I don't know how many beers I drank. And I looked over, and I had some old Klonopin that I had. I took all that I had of it. I had some Norco 7.5s from an injury before. I took all of those. And the thing that got me is I was literally sitting there, and I was at my computer, and 45 by Shinedown came on, and it was the live version from Kansas City. And Brent Smith talks about what the song is actually about. And I was watching it. I was like, this is me. this song that the song this is written about is about me. It's the person that can turn anything, make anybody laugh, but super, super no self-esteem and depressed. So I went and checked myself in at a local hospital and spent 4 days in a psych ward. That's when I got put on the Cymbalta. And I have my highs and lows. I've never got to that point where I never tried anything. But I will say about a month ago that I was like, if I didn't want to, I definitely did not want to hurt myself. But if I walked outside and got hit by a bus, I was more than okay with it. And I saw my new psychiatrist and got put on Abilify, and that's been better since then. But that's kind of the backstory. I've struggled with this for numerous years. So this is kind of also just an outlet. If nobody watches it, that's fine. But this is a kind of way for me to express my emotions. If somebody wants to watch, maybe I can help somebody. If not, at least I'm getting it out. It's at least I'm taking up the fear of public speaking. So I'm stepping out of my bounds. I'm doing stuff that's different. Speaking of that, I decided that I am going to go back to church tomorrow. So that'll be interesting. I actually was just kind of digging through and found a book that was on my dresser I had from high school. As you can tell, it's totally late 90s, early 2000s. And I have this little bookmark on it, if you notice. And I'm like, and it's Extreme for Jesus. As soon as I open it up, the passage that pops up is what to do when you're lonely. And it's got some just Bible scripture over here, and just kind of a brief explanation of what's in the Bible about feeling lonely. And I was like, this is a sign from God. And I was feeling pretty heavy-hearted, and I prayed to God. And I mean, if you're spiritual, great. If you're not, I totally understand. I'm not trying to push mine on you or anything like that. This is just a story about what happened to me. So I was laying in bed, couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning, and I said, God, please, I don't know what you have in store for me. I don't understand, but just know that you have my heart, and I'm putting my trust in you that there's a bigger purpose for this, and I don't know it yet. And it was like I prayed my prayer, and the next morning I woke up and I felt so much better. It was I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go to church tomorrow morning. I haven't been in years. I'm kind of excited about it, I'm not going to lie. But ever since then, I've been praying every morning and every night, and my days have been so much better. You may think it's a hoax. You may think it's just coincidence. I think it's a divine intervention myself. But that being said, this channel is not all about just my depressing life, because nobody would want to sit here and stare at this ugly mug for however long this is going on for just to hear me complain. But I don't care to discuss my medications I'm on. I don't care to discuss my weight loss journey. I don't care to talk about nursing, any questions you have about any of those three things. And I also sprinkle in some Harley and Jeep stuff. I plan on rebuilding my engine, so I may do like a kind of a video here and there on the rebuild process of that down in my disgusting garage. So as long as y'all promise not to judge me too much by my disgustingness. And the reason there's a desk over here right there is I've got a new desk here, and I'm waiting on somebody to come pick it up. So if you like this video, if you made it this far, I'd like you give me a like and a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you don't care, I don't really know what it does. I'm probably not getting any money, probably not getting any views, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment if you want to. If not, I totally understand. God bless you all, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.